Hi everyone, and welcome to Open Forensics Lab. In this video, we're talking about intentional delivery for oral interpretation. Oral interpretation is not just reading dramatically, and it is not about acting big. Strong interp delivery helps the audience understand the literature, who is speaking, where we are, what is changing, why the piece matters. In this video, we'll focus on three major areas: bookwork, differentiating characters, and tapping into authentic emotion. Let's start with bookwork. In many interpretation events, performers use a black book or manuscript. That book is not just something you carry because the rules say so. It's part of the performance style. A clean default position is to hold the book with the spine resting in your palm and the covers open at about a 90-degree angle. This keeps the book stable, allows you to reference the text when needed, and helps avoid blocking your face or collapsing your posture. Opening and closing the book should also feel intentional. When you open the book at the beginning, it can signal that the world of the piece is beginning. When you close the book at the end, it can signal finality, return, loss, completion, or whatever feeling fits the literature. The opening and closing of the book functions similarly to the curtains rising and falling on a stage play. So the key is to do it carefully. Avoid just flopping the binder open or snapping it shut. This can be one of those seemingly small things that really distinguishes experienced competitors from newer ones. Page turns matter too. A page turn can be purely practical, but it can also support the pacing of the piece. A page turn might mark a shift in time, a change in speaker, a new scene, or an emotional turn. The goal is not to make every page turn dramatic. The goal is to make sure page turns do not interrupt the performance. Practice them so they feel smooth, controlled, and connected to the moment. The book can also be used as a prop, but carefully. Depending on the piece, it might become a letter, a photograph, a door, a memory, or a boundary between characters. But the book should not become a random object just because the performer wants something to do with their hands. If you use the book as a prop, the choice should clarify the literature. A helpful question is, what is the book doing in this moment? Is it holding the text? Marking a transition, becoming an object in the world of the piece? If there is no clear answer, keep the book simple. Next, let's talk about differentiating characters and setting the scene. In oral interpretation, the audience needs to understand who is speaking and where they are. You do not need to make every character wildly different, but you do need enough distinction that the audience can follow the performance. One way to do this is through focal points. A focal point is where your eyes or attention are directed in the performance space. Focal points help create the invisible world of the piece. For example, one character might be angled slightly to your left and another slightly to your right. Focal points can also show memory, distance, imagination, or direct address. A character speaking to someone in the room may use one focal point, while a character remembering something may look somewhere else. These choices help the audience understand the scene without needing sets or costumes. Another tool is posture and body orientation. A confident character might stand taller. A guarded character might turn slightly away. A child might hold their body differently from an adult. A narrator might have a more neutral or grounded posture than the characters inside the scene. Body orientation can also show relationships. If two characters are in conflict, they might face different directions. If one character is seeking connection, their body might angle toward the other person. These choices do not need to be huge, but small, consistent changes can be very effective. A third tool is vocal quality. Characters or speakers can be distinguished through pitch, pace, rhythm, tone, breath, articulation, or vocal placement. One character might speak quickly and lightly. Another might speak slowly and carefully. One voice might feel sharp. Another might feel warm, hesitant, tired, formal, or playful. The key is consistency. If a character has a certain vocal quality at the beginning, the audience should be able to recognize that voice when it returns. This does not mean every character needs a cartoon voice. Your goal is usually clarity, not caricature, unless there's a specific reason for it. These tools can work together. A character might have a specific focal point, posture, and vocal quality. When those choices repeat, the audience learns the pattern and can follow the performance more easily. Finally, let's talk about authentic emotion. One common mistake in Interp is trying to act emotional. A performer might decide this is the sad part, and then push sadness onto every word. But strong emotional delivery is often less about acting and more about reacting. Acting can sometimes become a display. Look, I am crying. Look, I am angry. Look, I am intense. Reacting is different. Reacting means the emotion grows out of what is happening in the moment. The character hears something, realizes something, remembers something, or wants something. The emotional response comes from that discovery. So instead of asking, well, how do I show sadness? Ask, what just happened? What does this character or speaker want? What did they expect? What changed? What are they trying not to say? What are they trying to hold together? Those questions help emotion feel motivated from within rather than pasted on from without. Authentic emotion also requires variety. If every line is delivered at the highest emotional level, the performance has nowhere to build. A powerful piece often includes restraint, denial, humor, hesitation, stillness, or numbness before it reaches a major emotional release. Sometimes the most moving choice is not to cry. Sometimes it is to almost cry, but keep going. Additionally, think about playing with primary and secondary emotions. Primary emotions can be thought of as an instinctive response to an external event. A loud noise startles you, and you feel surprise or fear. Secondary emotions can be thought of as our reaction to the primary emotion. Maybe we feel guilty because we got angry. Maybe we feel embarrassed because we were afraid. Your characters may be feeling more than one emotion at once. As you rehearse, mark the emotional turns in the script. Where does the speaker learn something? Where does the relationship shift? Where does the tension rise? Where is the climax? Where does the piece settle, break, or leave us unsettled? Then connect delivery choices to those turns. Maybe the pace slows, maybe the focal point changes, maybe the book closes slightly. Maybe the voice softens or sharpens. The emotional arc should be legible to the audience if your choices are intentional. Strong oral interpretation delivery is not about doing the most, it's about making clear choices that bring the literature to life. Use the book with purpose, build the world with focus, body, and voice, and let emotion grow from reaction. Thanks for watching Open Forensics Lab.